This is a big deal. This is a real big deal.
आने वाले समय में यह भारत, पश्चिम एशिया और यूरोप के बीच इकोनॉमिक इंटीग्रेशन का प्रभावी माध्यम होगा।
This is nothing but historic.
This is how some of the stakeholders of the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, also called IMEC, described the project that was agreed upon on the sidelines of the recently concluded G20 summit in India on September 9. Amid all the excitement around IMEC, analysts caution that such ambitious cross-border infrastructure projects, more often than not, rarely materialize or take decades to reach their halfway mark. A case in point is the very project that IMEC supposedly seeks to compete with, China's Belt and Road Initiative or BRI. The global infrastructure development project, spanning 150 countries, has hit several roadblocks since its adoption in 2013 and is still underway. So, what is IMEC all about? Where does it stand? And what are the challenges it faces? The project involves the laying of a railway link through the Arabian Peninsula that could then link up with shipping passages to India and Europe on both ends of this proposed corridor that is being seen as a challenge to China's clout in the region. Goods and services would transit through the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, and Europe. The route will also enable electricity and digital connectivity, as well as pipes for clean hydrogen export. While the nitty-gritty of the economic corridor has perhaps not yet been worked out or at least talked about publicly, what we do know is that it would include a new undersea cable and energy transport infrastructure. The financing is also not yet known, as no binding financial commitments were made during the announcement, but the parties, however, have agreed to come up with an action plan over the next 60 days. While most experts feel it's too early to comment, as an idea, the IMEC is being seen as having the potential to transform the economy of the countries it involves.
It's a project that's about far from just laying tracks. It's about creating jobs, increasing trade, strengthening supply chains, boosting connectivity, laying foundations that will strengthen commerce and food security for people across multiple countries. This is a game-changing regional investment, and both of these are huge steps forward.
Talks about such a corridor have been going on behind the scenes between the countries it will pass through for months. The project sounds good on paper, but getting it started and making it operational might take a decade or more, given its sheer size and volume. The possibility of it not seeing the light of the day cannot be ruled out either. Several factors have the potential to derail the project. For instance, a change in political regimes might lead to change in priorities in the countries involved in the project, or severing of ties between member countries could force a country to walk out from the project. Simply put, the mega corridor involves countries that are not always on the same page, which exposes the project to political headwinds. Perhaps, sensing the skepticism, French President Emmanuel Macron emphasized on how the partner countries intend to make this a real project.
And this is a very important project from Asia through Middle East to Europe to offer big opportunities and connect people. But our intention is as well to make it real and to be sure that after this commitment we have concrete results.
Apart from political challenges the project faces, analysts such as Professor Ian Hall, who is an international relations expert at Brisbane's Griffith University, in an interview to Outlook, point out the lack of clarity in terms of the purpose of the project. Apart from offering an alternative to China's BRI, Professor Ian Hall said, "It is expensive to ship oil and gas over land, so energy probably isn't the main game. Is it about Indian exports into the Middle East then? And of what? Perhaps food or manufactured goods like cars." All said and done, each country involved in the project is playing a high-stakes game eyeing their own interests. For India, the project firmly places it on the route of trade flows from Southeast Asia to the Gulf, West Asia and Europe, giving it significant strategic and economic advantage, besides creating huge opportunities in the logistics and transportation sector. For the US, the project could act as a counter to arch-rival China's growing influence in the region. The planned corridor's passage through Jordan and Israel could also support the Biden administration's Arab-Israel normalization efforts as it pushes Saudi Arabia to formalize ties with Tel Aviv. The project is essential to the EU's efforts to deepen trade and investment ties with Gulf countries after facing an energy crisis following the war between Russia and Ukraine and to rival China's Belt and Road Initiative. Both Saudi Arabia and the UAE, the Middle East's dominant finance center, are seeking to project themselves as key logistics and trade hubs between East and West. The multi-continental effort IMEC promises a lot, and all eyes will be on the future course of action on the mega project and how these countries will keep their differences aside to bring this corridor to life.